makers, we're excited to announce the Makera Endless Creation Contest, where we are challenging you to share your awesome projects and creations. This contest will be hosted on our Reddit thread, and there are no limits, just pure creativity. We want to see what you have made with your Carvera or Carvera Air, so show us what you fabricated, collaborate with fellow makers, and join the fun. We're hosting this contest because we think your projects deserve some spotlight and some awesome prizes too. 3 lucky first place winners will receive a $1,000 gift card, 5 second place winners will receive a $500 gift card, and 10 third place winners will receive a $100 gift card. But all participants will get 10% off any purchases more than $50 on any accessories, materials, and bits in the Makera store too. So here's how to enter. Share a new post in the Makera Reddit thread with Makera Contest in your post title. And make sure your post isn't a comment on someone else's post so it doesn't get missed. Your post must also include a photo or video showcasing the final project creation. More than one photo can, of course, be shared in your post to better capture the project detail as well. And while it's optional, your post should also include a story behind its creation to give the Makera community a bit more info on what you made. And the reason for this is because of how judging is going to take place. Winners will be selected based on Reddit upvotes, creativity, and technique. So don't hold back. Share all of your projects and creations, and of course you can share more than one post to raise your likelihood of winning. Each new contest entry should be a new post in the Makera thread under the rules mentioned earlier. We're also counting on you to check out what other makers have shared and upvote the ones that are above and beyond. Check out the details below for some more tips and rules that you should consider as you enter this contest, and we cannot wait to see what you make.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hello. And good morning or good evening or good afternoon to you all. We see that we have a bunch of folks joining us. So yeah, happy to kick off another live stream. And as you may have just seen, we have a lot of really exciting things that are happening right now that we'll chat about. That Reddit Endless Creation Contest just being one of them. So we'll definitely dive deeper into that as we go through the night. And another super exciting thing is for the first time, we are streaming live on multiple platforms. We have folks joining us from YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram all simultaneously, which we're super excited about, that you can kind of connect with us in a lot of different spots. And also with that, though, one quick note is due to some technical jargon that's not really in our realm, Instagram user comments, we are relaying them because we can't necessarily see the Instagram comments live. So we're keeping an eye on those to be able to get back to you. But also Instagram comments cannot participate in our lucky draw giveaways. So Facebook comments and YouTube comments can though. So if you want to participate in the lucky draw, make sure and win some prizes. Make sure you're watching this on either Facebook or YouTube. But if you're viewing this on Instagram, sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy the show. So we have lots of exciting things going on. Before I dive into that, some quick introductions. My name is Jason. I'm the Education Director here at Makera. Super excited to do another live stream with all of you. And again, thanks for joining. And I'm also joined by my good colleague here, Roelof.
Hey, Jason. Thank you very much. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Roelof. I'm tuning in from South Africa, so it's quite in the middle of the night here, and but it's good. I see some other people on here from Belgium. You know, I see there's some early birds or some late nighters. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Roelof. I'm the user experience director and also manage the tech support team. And yeah, it's great to be here. We've got a few things to talk about. Today is more about just discussing, doing like a Q&A. I think our other live streams were more like project specific, so where we couldn't really like look at the comments so much. So this time we're gonna see if we can, you know, answer some of the questions that you have. We've got the chat open right in front of us, so we can answer your questions. We can run through a few things that we can discuss, and obviously a few giveaways, which is very exciting. So I think just to get it started, I'm just going to share some of this the summer sale info, which is a banner that I think, Jason, you can throw it up on here. So it's a exclusive for the live stream people that can use this coupon code Makera. That's for $100 off if you purchase a Carvera Air machine or a Carvera machine. And then there's also, you can save up. There's different savings as well. We can save up to $1,198 and also get some free gifts with the purchase of your machines. If you buy a Carvera Air, you can get the laser module for free, and which is worth $149. And if you buy a Carvera, you can get the 4th axis harmonic drive, which is worth like $600. So there's some cool things that you can save on if you're planning to buy it. Like take notes of all these codes and things like that. There's many ways that we can actually save you some money. And yeah, excited to be here. So Jason,
yeah,
and some other things as well. Yeah,
exciting sales. And also for users that are viewing from the US, like myself, I'm coming to you from the East Coast here, so it's getting a little late. But we also are super excited to announce that we just launched our Amazon.com store for the United States. So that's just another way that you can purchase the Carvera Air, and some of our accessories and things like that to make things a little bit more accessible. So some more exciting news. And we are super honored and excited to have been named the 2025 Desktop CNC Company of the Year by Manufacturing Technology Insights, which is a cool magazine / webzine / website / blog, right? Everything's pretty digital these days. That kind of just looks at different manufacturing processes from all over the world, selects what's great and what's not, and then shares that with all of their readers and their viewers and things. And they chose us for what we try to do to make the best CNC machining experience for any maker, any user, right? Accessible machines that you can put in virtually any space that are easy to use and yet super precise and exciting. So huge thank you to that organization, Manufacturing Technology Insights. And you can learn more about that award on our website and on their website. And it's just something that we're pretty excited to share with you, that we just found out that we got that. So really excited about that. And then we have some other summer events going on, right, Roloff? Where are we going this summer?
So we're planning a trip. I'm planning a trip to the US. We are visiting the Open Source Festival in San Francisco Bay, which is super excited. I think we will meet a lot of people that can use this machine for projects, and YouTubers that can showcase or use the machine in some of their crafts or ideas or just making anything. So we're super excited to go there. If there's anybody on the stream that's in the area, we invite you to come visit our booth. We've got some fun things that will happen there. We've got some DIY things we can build. We're gonna play. We're gonna use these machines. It's gonna be very exciting. We have some gifts that we can give away. So yeah, it's super excited that we can be there. And yeah. I think let's look at some of the questions on here.
We have a lot.
Is there anything that caught your eye there, Jason?
Yeah, well, first off, lots of congrats. So thank you guys. Lots of congrats.
Thank you.
And some praise and things like that. So we super appreciate it. The success that we have is all thanks to you guys, that we have such awesome users that are not only interested in trying our products, but doing such amazing things with the products, which is really kind of be the theme of the tonight, is that we get to sort of highlight some of those awesome things and projects and things like that through our current, collaboration contests and things like that. So, yeah, huge thanks. And a lot of quick questions like, are we looking to expand to, Amazon and other sites in other markets, Europe, etc.? The answer is yes, of course. We're growing as a company, which is a great place to be in. And this first step to expand to Amazon.com in the US was a natural step for us to take. So I don't have any timelines or things like that or official plans to share, but the goal for Makera is to continue to grow and make purchasing our products, as accessible as it can be. So, we're always looking to expand in that direction. Just at the moment, Amazon.com for the US is the first step that we're taking here. So, but again, thank you for all the praise with that. I saw another one asking about that dust collector that we showed at CES. So super exciting. That is well on its way of reaching production. It's something that we're hoping we were hoping by now we could have announced, but we kind of did a little design change to make it a better quality product and to make it perform a little bit better. So unfortunately that led to a small delay, but also allowed us to in the end make a much better quality product that we're pretty excited for. So I know we're bringing that to open source in July. So we'll have a unit to show there. That'll be the essentially production spec. So I don't have an official launch date, but coming soon in the next, I would say next couple months is what we're looking to do with that one. And definitely keep an eye on our site and things like that for updates on the dust collector.
I got another question here from Lucas, and I think I've seen people ask this question. You know, they have received their machine, but they're so scared to use the machine. And I think that's I think there might be some Kickstarter from the initial machine that hasn't used the machine, because it's quite, when you look at CNC machines, it's quite a daunting process. You know, like some people are scared of the machines, but I have to just say, man, these machines, like, they make it so easy. And you know, if you don't have to worry about anything that breaks, if you're milling materials, you will break a tool here and there. That's part of CNC machining and figuring out the way that the method, and everybody's milling different products and parts, which some takes a little bit more stress on the tools and some takes a little less. So you know, it's one of those things. You're just going to have to open that box and you're just going to have to go for it.
For sure.
If anything,
I was gonna say they should collect dust, but because you're using them, not because they're sitting there collecting dust, right? You know, you gotta rip the plastic off and dive in, and you know, go in with the mindset that, like, I'm gonna break a bit, I'm gonna break some material. Not every project's gonna come out exactly like I expect when I'm learning, and even when you get it down, you know, you make a mistake, and that's perfectly okay.
And also, that also brings us to the support that we have. If by any chance you manually move this machine and you hit something and you break something mechanical on the machine or something like that, we got your back. You don't have to worry about too many things. Maybe that'll just bring some delay for us to ship any replacement parts. The machine comes with a 1-year warranty, so we can ship replacement parts right out to you. If there's something that breaks, obviously we'll try to find a fix in the meantime. But yeah, don't have to worry about it, and all you have to do is just go for it, man. Just open the box and just go for it, and you'll be so glad that you do it. The earlier you do it, the better. For sure.
I somebody mentioned, like, they guess that Les Paul body is too big to fit on the Carvera. You can't tell from here, but that's actually done in 3 sections. So I didn't mill it. It is actually a 3D printed guitar, but that is actually done in 3 sections and adhered together. So that would actually fit on the CNC if I wanted to, because at the time I made it with a very small 3D printer. I got your point there. Super cool. I'm looking at our other some good questions about some things that we're not skipping over your questions, but it's not necessarily in like the tone of what we're trying to set for tonight. So if you have questions about like your orders or shipping or something like that, Roloff and I are not the right people to answer those questions. We don't have like account open in front of us right now. So we're going to skip those questions and things like that and just try to answer, you know, technical Q&A, how-to project type questions and things like that. Just because that's kind of, you know, the things that Roloff and I, you know, do in the company and what we can support with you here. So we're skipping over some of like the sales questions and things like that, just because we're not ignoring you, but we're not the right people to ask. You can totally reach out to our info@Makera or the orders@Makera accounts, the people that send you your invoices and things, and they will help you out with answering those questions. Or of course, fill out a support ticket if you need to too. Let's see. Can you engrave a porcelain mug? That's a cool question. The answer is yes, depending on what you're trying to engrave, right? If you're trying to engrave and just like etch, you know, the surface of it, you're not trying to necessarily, for example, we actually did an auto leveling video using the auto leveling probe to actually engrave essentially the finish off of, it was a stainless steel mug, but I have done it with a ceramic mug as well. And we really just took the top layer of glazing off, and that totally works fine. Depending on, again, how big of a thing you're trying to engrave and how deep you want to engrave. Eventually, if you go too deep, you're of course going to ruin the integrity of the mug. So if you're just trying to take the surface of the glazing off, that's totally possible with the right bits, the right feeds and speeds, and some spare mugs in case you maybe get it wrong the first time.
Yeah. And the auto leveling that actually maps, you know, any different shape or any different thing that you want to engrave or you know, put some details on. You can also use. We also have a video about the that film that we used. I don't know the exact specifics of the film, but then you put this film onto the porcelain mug, and then you use the laser that's built into the machine to actually engrave that pattern or whatever design you have on the mug, and then you remove the rest. So that's also a nice feature you can use. There is videos online about that. So
yeah, that's like a nice like laser marking substrate that you could put on that works pretty well for like glass mugs and tumblers and stuff like that too. Works pretty well for that as well.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about the guitar again. Yeah, that is. I actually have an Instructable post for that. Instructable post for it that you could totally find. I don't know if I can put in here. I'll put it on the comment. Actually, share that. So yes, I have the files for the Les Paul. It's public. I'll put that. If you check it out on my website, you can totally find those files for free.
Yeah. I see a question here about the 4th axis. Now, there's like, how can it be used better? The method that we currently use is it changes the Y direction into the A direction. So it's a 4th axis, but we're not using the Y axis yet. So I have to say yet. So it still molds some features, but with the Y actually moving together, you'll get so much more details in it. That's something that we are planning. That is something we are currently developing. So that will be something that will.
Yeah, specifically for Makera Cam, right? If you're using, like, for example, Autodesk Fusion or 4th axis profile for that one, you certainly could do that, right? But for Makera Cam, which of course we're trying to make it to be a much simpler approach to using 4th axis machining, as you said, Roloff, that's in development right now. Although we do have some new Makera Cam updates to share that we'll get into a little bit later on. Some exciting new things, a new version that just launched. So we will share that, and yeah, you can totally, as Roloff said, stay tuned for some additional 4th axis. Somebody earlier asked, is Makera Cam like true 3D or is it 2.5D? It's at the moment, it's definitely leaning more towards like a 2.5. You can import 3D models, STEP, STL, but the types of toolpaths you can do is more of a 2.5 at the moment. I mean, there's 3-dimensional reliefs and pocketry and stuff like that, but the typical like adaptive clearing thing that I think that person's probably referring to is in the pipeline, coming soon to Makera Cam, stuff that we're working on to develop. That would be, the next couple big releases for Makera Cam as we're continuing to improve our 3D and 4th axis features.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if you can turn off auto leveling. You don't yet. Auto leveling isn't on by default. By default, the Z probe, auto Z probe is on. So that's using the wired probe or wireless probe in your machine to just measure the height of your stock. So that is on by default. Auto leveling would be an additional feature that you can select, which would then do multiple Z probes across the stock. So yeah, you don't need to keep that on. And in reality, if you're not working with a really warped piece of stock or a rough cut piece of stock, or even if you're going to machine through the surface, you're not trying to use the top of the stock to be your finish, you don't really need to use auto leveling. It's a super handy feature when you are working with warped stock or something that's rough cut. I do a lot of woodworking, so I don't typically run my stock through a planer before I throw it into my CNC, right? So that's a great reason to use it. But no, you don't have to use auto leveling. And if you also didn't want to use the wired probe or the wireless probe for Z, you can also use the manual XYZ puck, which is a more traditional XYZ calibration feature for both the Carvera and Carvera Air, but that's maybe not the default. It's not as convenient, so it's not something you would have to do unless you're doing more of a complex, intricate type of project.
I also see a few technical questions, about the use of the machine or maybe some machine problems. I can refer you to the support email. We have a support staff online 24/7. So if you have any issues with your machine, please contact us on support@makera.com. With anything that's wrong with your machine, we'll sort you out. I just see a few comments like that in here that we can't really do. We can't really discuss it here. It's very specific.
And again, we're not ignoring you guys. It's just like we don't want to give you a not really helpful answer. And our support team's great, and like they will actually genuinely troubleshoot what's happening and sort you out and even send you replacements if needed. Right? It's just not something we can do right now. So we're not ignoring you. We have great support. It's just that we are well, Roloff is in charge of that. I do like the content, the training, but and support schools, but we are not the right people at the moment to support you with that.
Yeah.
So
No, we're set up now that there's always a person online checking all the tickets. So we get to your tickets as soon as possible. There might be like an hour or so delay on the replies, but you should be able to get the reply as soon as possible when you actually use the support ticketing system. Yep.
Yeah.
Jason, what do you think? Do you think we're gonna give away some stuff?
Our first giveaway. Yeah, I feel like this was some good Q&A. Not the only Q&A we're doing. We have some things to chat about tonight, but the time for the first giveaway. So get your keyboards ready. For, again, YouTube and Facebook users, you're going to have to use the comment section here to leave us a comment to participate in the giveaway. Roloff is going to pull that up, and we have 3 sets of prizes that we're going to do here. Plenty of prizes to give away. The first being a Makera shirt. A Makera shirt. So get your keyboards ready for the first prize. And specifically, we're going to give away 5 shirts. 5 shirts. So 5 lucky winners for this first drawing here. Again, for Facebook or YouTube participants.
So I'm just going to say hashtag Makera.
Yep.
And then let's give away some shirts. Start collecting comments.
Hashtag Makera. Spelling does count, and you can only enter once. But let's go here, folks.
There we go.
Lots coming in. I'm realizing all these comments coming in make it difficult to find keep track of the comments here. Here's a good question that I'm going to answer while we do this, because we're going to give you guys some time. Difference between servos and I'm seeing a difference between the servos. I think it might be a typo. I think we're looking at the difference between steppers and the closed loop servos. Like, what is the difference between that, and why do we advertise that as a key difference between the Carvera and the Carvera Air? All CNCs use electronic motors to travel, right? To move left, right, up, down, etc. Right? The Carvera uses a system that has closed loop servo motors, right? Versus the Carvera Air that uses stepper motors. Both are very common in industry, but typically you'll find servo motors on more industrial, way more precise machines, because they can hold a higher level of resolution. They're a little bit more precise, and then the result of that is they give you a little bit more precision when you get down to the nitty-gritty of detail. Stepper motors are very commonly used. In fact, I would say most desktop CNCs or even desktop 3D printers use stepper motors. They're great, and they're super affordable, which is part of the reason why we can make the Carvera Air a more entry-level and affordable machine. But of course, they don't hold quite the same resolution level as what a closed loop servo would do in terms of accuracy and precision. And that was a very simplified explanation. We dive a little bit more deep into that on our website, but that is the key difference, and why, you know, the Carvera might be able to do a little bit more precision among some other ways that it's constructed there. So
thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go.
Let's give some shirts away.
All right. Let me draw. Let's see who's up first.
And again, we have 5 shirts here. 5 shirts. Who's our first winner? Kevin. Kevin. Congratulations, right. Kevin. Winner number 1 of the evening. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
To claim your prize, just take a screenshot of your YouTube account or your Facebook account, just to show us that you're actually a person. And then we can arrange to ship that out to you. If you have an existing order, we can add that to your existing order. So yeah, you can just talk to us, and then email that to info@makera.com, and then we will handle this from there.
And of course, don't forget to also subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us there on Facebook, because you have to be a subscriber/follower in order to get this. So, and everyone can just do that now. If you haven't already, push that button, which I think is YouTube is down. Facebook, I think it's up. I don't know. It's here somewhere on your screen. There's a subscribe/follow button. Do that so we can give you free stuff. All right, let's give away a couple more shirts.
Let's go.
There we go.
RP,
you just won a Makera shirt. Congrats. Nice. But you're not the only one. We got 3 more.
Let's run it again.
Brian, congratulations. You can
All
see we
right.
have some winners here from viewing on Facebook or YouTube, both totally fine. And again, if you're watching us on Instagram right now, that's great. Thank you for joining us. But remember, your comments, we're keeping an eye on them to answer your questions, but you can't participate in the lucky draw. Dale, congratulations.
All right.
What do we have? One more
Four.
shirt?
And one more.
One more Makera shirt here. Here we go.
YT Cracker. I don't really know how to say that, but I think that's probably
But
YouTube Cracker.
congratulations. Nonetheless,
Congrats.
great.
Yeah, great stuff.
Awesome. So listen, that was not the only giveaways, of course, of the night. We have 4 more prizes, 2 more sets of giveaways, and 4 more prizes that we'll be doing. So stay tuned. Stay tuned here, folks. And of course, thank you for everyone who participated. Before we get into our next set of questions, let's talk about some of those other exciting things. I mentioned we had a video that played right before we started here about our endless creation contest. So super cool contest, a bunch of participants that have joined us and participated so far. And there's still plenty of time. This contest is running through July 3rd. And essentially to participate, we just want you to post a project that you've made with your Carvera or Carvera Air on our Reddit thread. And it's literally that simple. We want you to share a cool thing that you've done. And you can share it in a couple different ways. You can share just a picture, a couple pictures, a video if you have a video, a story if you want. But really what we want to see is just what you're creating, right? So the catch here, or what you have to do, is you have to post it on the Reddit thread. So the Makera thread that we have linked probably in the chat and on our website in a bunch of spots. And you have to put Makera contest in the title and make sure that it's a new post, not like a comment on someone else's, because then it might not pop up into our feed. But the way that judging is happening is on a couple different things. The Makera team is taking a look at it, and we're giving points for creativity and technique. And we're also asking all of our users and viewers to upvote the really cool projects that they think deserve some prizes. So Reddit upvotes also count towards the judging and the criteria, right? So that means that maybe the more detail you share, the more pictures you share, or a video, or even like a little description on how you do it, might allow you to get some more upvotes. And that's going to be like 50% of your scoring. And we're, of course, counting on all of you to help us find those really exceptional projects. And of course, there's prizes. So first off, anyone who enters gets 10% off all accessories, bits, and materials automatically if you enter the contest and if you participate in the contest. We are giving away 10 third place prizes of a $100 gift card to 10 third place winners. 5 second place winners are going to get a $500 gift card, and 3 first place winners are going to get a $1,000 gift card. So lots of prizes that you can gain, again, by just sharing the really cool stuff that you're already doing on our Reddit thread, right? So that is our Endless Creation Contest, and we're super excited that that's going on. It's kind of our first public contest that we've done. We've done some cool things on our Discord groups, but I don't think we ever hosted a contest like this. And so far, I got to say, I'm hugely impressed with what I've seen in the projects thus far. Roloff, I mean, what about you? What are you thinking about those?
Yeah, like everything I see on there, it's good stuff. It's exciting, and it's good to see what people are doing. I make things on my machine that's different. Everybody makes things that's different, and it's good to see what other people are doing. So yeah, definitely good to look at it.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Let me pull up my screen here.
Yeah, let's run through it.
Give me 1 second. Let me find the right. Oh, you know what? That's super fun. Hang on 1 second. My laptop is, of course, giving me a bunch of fun screen sharing things right now.
I can open it here on my side too.
Yeah, why don't you go? I'm having a minor technical issue here. See if you can. Actually, wait. Yeah, see if you can. Hang on. Maybe. Is this working? Is this me? Is this you? This is me. Okay.
That's you. That's you.
Some minor technical issues. Somebody who forgets to update their Chrome before they go on a live stream there. Sorry about the delay there, guys. But anyway, let's take a look. So here I am. I'm at our Makera thread, and we have some cool contests. So we are definitely not going to have time to look at everyone's here tonight. So please don't think that we're like singling or skipping anybody here. We're just going to scroll through and maybe chat about a couple cool ones at the time that we have.
Yeah.
This one I have a personal love for because I do a lot of filming and photography, and I know
Don't
that
be biased,
several
Jason.
years ago I broke one of my favorite tripods, and I attempted to 3D print a part that looked just like these with this little like knurled attachment thing here, and it did not work out very well. So bravo to this person for solving a problem that I personally had with a part that frankly looks gorgeous. I think that's really cool and like super real world practical use. Nice little chamfered edge there. Some threaded
and the
holes
threads,
too.
the threads are also really well done.
Yeah, beautifully made part. Super awesome to this person. Love that one. Let's see, what do we got? Some videos. I like the variety too. You know, some cool videos, right? So some pictures, a little written description and stuff like that. A video.
I watched this video. Yeah, it's quite a cool video. I think you probably have to share like another. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is like a MIDI controller. This guy is actually developing, which is really cool. So you can control, if you're like a musician, you have a bunch of pedal boards, you can control it via this one controller. So you don't have to have all these pedal boards set up with all your settings and change them. You can just have them at like certain effects. But yeah, the whole casing, and I think the main face is all molded on our machine. So it's a really cool another case that this guy's.
That is awesome. Obviously a pretty cool maker and musician there. Love that.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got
this
here?
Is very pretty.
Yeah. A pendant? What material is that? Is that a metal there? It's hard to tell, but that looks super cool. I think it's some type of metal, perhaps. Maybe it looks like aluminum.
Could be aluminum. It could be silver.
Yeah, it's got like a slight, almost golden hue to it there.
Yeah. Really cool.
Super cool.
Really cool looking.
That's super cool. Super cool.
I like these videos too.
I love the milling videos. Look at that bit too. Hang on, I'm going to go back to that. That is a gorgeous bit. Not sure what that is.
Yeah.
That's a nice finishing bit there. It looks like this person's either taking advantage of different size collets and bit adapters, right? That's a question I get quite frequently with education is, why would you go to a different size collet, right? Well, it's kind of like, it allows you to go to a bigger bit diameter, right? So the bigger bit diameter essentially allows you to clear out more material, right? Essentially, and maybe also handle more load and more stress. But there's certain times where you want to use a smaller bit to clear out some finer detail, right? So we provide different size bit diameter bit collets that you can do anything between 3 millimeters and 6.35 millimeters, or between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch bits. But we also provide bit shank adapters, which means you can easily switch between larger diameter bits, shanks, and smaller bits without having to take the collet out. Or if you have a Carvera, you could even have multiple diameter shank diameters loaded in your tool changer, which really gives you a lot of flexibility. And that's something I mentioned. I do a lot of woodworking. I do that a lot to clear out a lot of material. I'll put it in a larger 1/4 inch bit, and then to do some fine detail engraving, I'll throw back in my 1/8 inch bit. Super handy. That's cool. I like it.
That's really cool.
I also like the title. I don't think it's like a requirement to do a fun title, but like Bit, Spurs, and Broken Mask, my CNC journey. Solid points on the creativity on the title there. Like that.
Yeah.
This was cool. This is actually somebody asked.
This is cool.
This was a really cool user project. Somebody machined this, Game Boy inspired shell.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, that looks very cool.
I like this one. You know what I was wondering? I think they did this with the laser, right? That looks laser etched. It looks like a laser line there rather than a mill. I can't say for certain, but I'm thinking that that's actually done with the laser, which looks pretty good. So cutting through some thin, maybe like birch or some type of Baltic plywood there, and then
yeah. If it's like a thin wooden material, you'll be able to cut through.
For sure.
Not sure how thick this is.
It's looking like maybe less than 3 mil. I would say it's hard to say. I know that we have some test tutorials and things like that we've done some 3 mil or 1/8 inch. 1/8 inch there is awesome. And again, we are not going to have time to look at them all here, but I like this video. The fact that they really kind of walked you through. Oh, that's cool. So they actually show you how they converted a photo into a mesh. That's cool. I like that. This is not our software, for those that are wondering. This is an app that the person found, and it looks like they are going to import some type of STL into Makera Cam like that to then prepare their project and do some relief machining. Very cool.
Very cool to see.
Yeah, nicely put together. And unlike our videos, they are still safely machining with the lid closed, which is what you should always do. Always do. Keep your lid closed. Machine in a safe environment, of course. Job well done. Cool.
Some jewelry, some earrings. This also looks really cool.
Somebody actually just asked a question about can you use a 3D scanner and convert? Yeah, so Makera Cam can import an STL, which is a very common mesh file. But most 3D scanners won't necessarily output an immediately usable file. So you're going to have to take that 3D scan. And most 3D scanners, in my experience, will have sort of their own software that lets you simplify the mesh. So if you take in a raw scan, it's going to be a bit of a messy file, and it's probably going to make not just Makera Cam crash, but virtually any cam software crash until you simplify the mesh, repair any holes. But yes, if you take a 3D scan and then you go through some type of simplification software, and then that gives you an STL, you can absolutely bring that STL into Makera Cam to machine a coin like that person did, or machine a fourth axis project. Sure thing.
Yeah,
those are pretty cool. I like that. Oh, here we go. This is a fourth axis project. This definitely was imported as I would assume an STL file, and perhaps not a scan, but just a public file and things like that.
And I think that base plate is also looks like aluminum.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that. That's cool. I like that. I like that.
I think that also looks like it was milled on our machine. Very cool. This is a nice little box.
Yeah, some nice surface engraving there. I like that. It looks like maybe a V bit going in there.
Yeah.
Very nice. I like it. Oh, I saw this one for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way, for those of you that celebrated last weekend. I also saw somebody asking about this probe. This is part of our community firmware and our users that have shared this and made this work, which is something that we love to see and we love to support, that community members that are really talented and really motivated to do these types of things. You can actually dabble with that and things like that, of course. And I've seen some really cool success with that. So this is not one of our probe that comes with it, but there are some really cool DIY guides and things like that the Discord users chat about. So if you're interested in that, definitely ask our Discord users about how to do those things. And they're pretty really capable folks that allow those cool things to happen.
And we also look at the community firmware and the controller, and we take some inspiration for that too. Most of the things that's added on there, it is tested by the Discord users, but and we also take some inspiration for that on the public version that we actually put out. So we do look at it. I've got it on one computer, I've got it here, but then on the other computer, I've got the standard version. So for some people, you need some more features, but for most people, our cam or our controller is and firmware is all that they need. But there's some cool things on there that could be useful in the future, and we will obviously look at that.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's just part of Makera's model. Is like Makera is a company built on makers, right? Like our founders, Josh, who's spoken kind of publicly about the stuff before. He and his colleagues were just frustrated about not being able to find a CNC that did what they needed, and that's how Makera was formed, right? So we absolutely promote that maker mentality and that DIY mentality, and we know that some folks just want that out of box. I don't have to build it out of a box machining high quality experience. We provide that. But then, of course, we also allow those folks to dive in a little bit. If you want to then, go into the more open source route, that's also fine too. Super cool robot. We're going to be talking a lot about robots and machining aluminum parts and carbon fiber parts like this at Open Source. So this is a super cool project, and we're going to be highlighting a lot of stuff like that. And actually, in our Open Source booth, I don't want to give away too much, but we're going to have a hands-on activity where you might be able to build a fun little project that's machined on our machines there. So definitely swing by our Open Source booth if you're going to be in the area.
I love the way that I love the way how you combine like the different materials.
Oh, for this
With
guy?
things that
Yeah.
with that, like using the carbon fiber, the 3D printed parts, and also the
So good.
aluminum.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that's the best, such a great workflow is, when you
yeah,
look at any product, it's always done with so many different
mm,
materials, right?
mm,
If I pick up my phone, it has glass and titanium and some plastic
mm,
clips and things like that. So different processes. So,
yeah,
having, machines that are easy to use and you could fit into your home and stuff like that lets you just,
yeah,
could you 3D print these plates? Sure, but they might not, hold up as well. They might not have tap
mm,
threads and being able to combine, like you just said, roll off there, the different materials to do
yeah,
the best material for the job is awesome. Really good
mm,
use there. Another cool coin that looks like another
mm,
like imported relief, I would think, that they engraved. Yeah, super cool. I like the little
yeah,
custom jig too to hold it in place. Well done.
yeah. The detail on that face is also really good.
Yeah.
I have to say, I don't see any lines on this. That's good job,
Yeah.
well done.
I wonder what their step over and things like that was.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah, yeah.
nice and slow. Well done. That's a beautifully taken picture. Top notch.
Look
What
at
is it?
that.
Ah, cool. I like that. So there's some more of the DIY community there. Some folks creating some custom parts. Love that. And again, like really well done on the threaded holes and chamfering and stuff like that. Nice. And your
Beautiful
photography
part.
skills, yeah, and your photography skills are top notch too. Bravo. Well done.
Yeah.
Somebody give this person an upvote. That's a cool box.
Beautiful. The detail
Container.
on this is also incredible.
Yeah.
No
Awesome.
lines. That's when you get your step over spot on. When you get out these crispy parts, you don't even have to sand it.
So good. Really, really good.
Oh, good.
Somebody's asking question about milling carbon fiber safely. Great question. You do have to be really careful with carbon fiber dust. It is very small particle and things like that. So our machines are, of course, completely enclosed. And, the Carvera has a built-in dust collector and the Carvera Air has an external option one. So I would absolutely suggest that, of course, you're machining this with your lid closed, dust collection on. And yes, when you clean up the area and you take the part out, you should make sure that you're either in you wear some type of respirator, you cover your face, your eyes, right? You don't want to get that dust. You don't want to be breathing that in or getting that in your eyes and things like that. So making sure that you're cleaning that area very safely and
And if you're
using
handling,
precautions.
yeah, and if you're handling the parts, just use some gloves.
Carbon fiber is very sharp too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So be careful not only handling the part with gloves, but also, for those burrs and things like that for sure. Yeah, and using the proper filtration units for your vacuums and
yeah,
things, for sure. This is cool, Rolf. This reminds me of like one of those projects I think you've shown me done. You've done some cool metal cards and things like that I've seen, right? That's
yeah.
really beautifully done.
This almost looks like some kind of anime, Dragon Ball Z or something. But I might be wrong.
I think this
Oh, this
person
guy's shared
posted
a bunch of
a
projects.
bunch of projects, man. So this is cool. That's cool. That's one of our examples, but they've obviously done like a pretty cool, their own customized thing there. That's cool.
Yeah.
And now listen, for the Reddit contest, you can enter more than once. You can totally enter more than once. So feel free to give yourself more posts to enter more than once. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's part 1 and part 2. This guy's just going. I love it. Lots of cool stuff.
The things that he makes is incredible, man. So beautiful. Look at the detail on that.
That's pretty cool. I want to know what the actual size is. It looks huge.
Yeah.
Can't imagine, the time of that, but the details, awesome. All right, I'm spending too much time. This is cool. This is a simple bicolor stock. Super fun engravings, right? That looks great.
Yeah.
That's a really quick thing to do.
Yeah. Wow. Looks really good.
Look at that. You guys are awesome. Thank you for using our
machine
and doing such good stuff. You guys are so good. Rolf, how motivated are you to actually, get out here and we got to push ourselves here a little bit. These are
I'm going to start making stuff. It's like almost 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to start up the machines behind me after this this live stream.
I was super excited when I saw this one. So I used to teach woodworking in like grade school and things like that. And one of my favorite projects to do with the students when you introduce the lathe is a pen. And I actually have a mandrel sitting over here, and I've been thinking about modifying it and getting it on the 4th axis, but this person has totally beat me to it. And they did a pretty cool project tutorial video on how to machine custom pens on the 4th axis using the rotary, which is super cool. Love that project. Job well done. I'm dying. I don't know what material this is. It doesn't necessarily look like wood. It looks almost like an ABS or something, or it could be a stained or some type of finish on there. But
not sure.
Super cool. Super cool. This is nice. I like that.
Little dog.
I think this is custom chess pieces. Custom chess pieces of animals and things like that. Super cool. This is where if I could get my dog to sit still, I would absolutely scan him and then machine him, right? I did a coin. A coin with him, but I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
That's cool. Talk about
there's also looks
big projects.
Yeah, he did that. I think he split that part into a few parts and then just put it together, because the size of that computer looks a little bit bigger than our machine, but looks really good. If you can see the detail there in the middle of the circles.
Super cool.
Thing with wings, yeah. Very cool.
That's awesome. I don't know what it is, but telescope tube backplate. All right. Again, real world use.
Man, this guy, he pushed the limits. Look at how that's mounted.
So did he mount it and then like rotate it?
He probably mounted it, rotated it, or just repositioned it.
I need to know. Are you on this right now? Give us a comment. Are you watching? Who is this person? Random named user. Give me a random explanation on how you did that. That is super cool. I wonder if it's the center hole and he literally pivoted it.
I don't know. I'm unsure.
We need to know more.
That's very awesome. Cool.
I have no idea what it is, but it's awesome. Really job well done.
Yeah.
Super cool.
That's quite a recent.
That is recent. 4 hours ago. Post. Awesome. So listen, as you can see, hopefully you guys are inspired. I'm inspired. Hugely inspired. And again, thank you to all you guys for all these really cool projects and things like that you are doing. Really job well done. And again, thank you everybody. And there's still time, right? July 3rd. So there's still plenty of time to share your projects on our Reddit thread. And again, we're also counting on you to upvote some of those cool projects to make sure that we're getting the folks the prizes, and tons of prizes, right? Everyone gets 10% off on our bits and accessories and things like that for entering. And again, we're giving away 10 third place prizes, 5 second place prizes, and 3 first place prizes. So definitely take some time to join that. But let's do some prizes now. I think it's time for a second giveaway here, Roloff.
Yeah, people's asking about prizes, so let's give them some.
Perfect. So what are we giving away?
So we have a little coupon for the Carvera Air for $300.
Yeah, $300 off for the Carvera Air.
Let me share this page.
And you can also, I think you mentioned earlier that right now, if you buy the Carvera Air, you get the free laser module. So you can use this $300 coupon with that laser module, which is cool. So you can get $300 off and a free $150 laser module.
Yeah. Are you guys ready?
Here we go. The keyword is what, 300?
Hashtag 300.
All right. Who wants $300 off?
Let's go.
Ready, steady, go. Again, Facebook and YouTube comments for this. And if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, right? You got to be a subscriber/follower, right? In order to win. So make sure you take some time to do that. And let's see. Again, we have, we're going to give away three $300 coupons here. Seen a bunch come in on Facebook and YouTube. And this is not our last giveaway. We have one more that we'll do when we get closer to the end of the night here. But this is, again, we got 3 of these. Here we go. I'll give you another minute or so. I still see a bunch coming in. Also scrolling to see if we missed any questions too. Let's see.
Here's a question, Jason. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think someone wants to have walkthroughs of the examples that we include with the machine, but we have videos of that already available, right?
Yep. So all those examples that we have in the examples book, the pirate ship and the Nefer TD4th axis, the LED light, and also the what's our other example? Why am I'm blanking on our book here? Oh, the PCB.
Yeah.
No, the PCB is the LED light. Yeah, well, this is a good time for me to just drop the link in the chat because even I don't remember the examples. Yeah, we have videos for everything. I walk you through every step of it. So I will put the link for that in it. Oh, the laser engraving example. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want a video walkthrough of each of those, you can just check out our knowledge sharing page and our YouTube channel, and you get a step-by-step video tutorial, even showing you how to solder the PCB and all that type of stuff. All right, I think we have a number of entries there. Let's give away some $300 coupons.
Let's go. Who's up first?
Let's see. Winner number 1 of 3.
Lycos Leather.
I was going to say, I'm going to let you try to do that one. Yeah, Lycos Leather. Congratulations.
Great
Winner
stuff.
number 1. And again, make sure that you are either a subscriber on YouTube or a follower on Facebook. Grab a screenshot of your account info and send that to info@makera.com for your prize. We'll send you a coupon code. And let's do 2 more.
All right. You can only enter once. You can give it a go, but this only takes the entry once. Greg Hill.
Greg Hill, congratulations. Winner number 2.
Why does this name look familiar? I think he's already hasn't he won something before?
I don't know, but if so, man, power to you.
Congrats, man. Let's go.
Guys, we do this. We give giveaways every time. Keep coming back.
Yeah. And the longer you stay on the stream, the better the prizes get. So stay tuned.
That is part of the marketing tactic, in case you guys haven't figured out.
We might make your day.
Congratulations, Phil. Awesome. So 3 winners. Again, guys, make sure that you either follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube, depending on where you're viewing this stream. Take a screenshot of your info, send that to info@makera.com. And then for this one in particular, it's just going to be a digital coupon code that you can use as mentioned on your purchase. So congratulations to those 3 winners. And there's going to be 1 more winner later. And that winner is going to be able to get a Carvera Air CNC. But we're not going to do that just yet. We got a couple more things that we're going to do, and then we're going to get to that last prize. So let me see. I'm going to pull up my screen. I want to show the new updates to Makera Cam. While I do that, Rolf, see if there's any other possible people that we missed here or questions that we missed.
Yeah, so the Greg Hill, he actually was one of the previous winners of a Carvera Air. That's why I recognized his name. He just commented on here. So congrats. Now you can get a voucher for even more.
That's awesome. Rolf, what are the odds that you have Makera Cam available on your computer to show? If not, that's okay.
I haven't uploaded the new version.
Okay. My computer is making it difficult for me to do a screen share for whatever reason. I got away with the tab, but give me 1 second here, folks. Let's keep answering questions while I figure out this technical issue, and I will I'll walk you through this here.
Yeah. Here's a question: how to square up aluminum for molds? Well, the way that you square up material that can be for any specific project. But one method that I use that I kind of stick with is you design your molds with the holes of the bed of the machine. So we have DXFs available for the Carvera and the Carvera Air, and then you design your molds with holes in the specific area, so you can mount it specifically in the correct spot. The material. And then after that, you can flip it, you can rotate it. I think that's maybe what that one guy did on the Reddit contest on one of his parts. He actually used the bed and mounting holes. So you kind of design your part with the DXF maybe in the background of where you draw and design your part. Or you can also just mull a jig. That's another process that I also use. I would mount a piece of MDF to the bed, and then I do a little cutout for the jig, and then without moving the Z0 location or origin of the jig, you use that same origin for the mold or whatever part you put into that cheek. Then you know you have exactly the correct positioning. So there's a few ways of doing that, and yeah,
Well
I'm looking
said.
at some more questions there. Yeah.
Well said. Job well done. I'm almost done figuring this out. So answer one more question and you're going to be good to go.
Yeah. Okay. I'm running through it here. There's quite a few. Some of it's not really. I see some names on here. That's the internal vacuum for the Carvera is a HEPA filter. So that has its own specification, and it actually, it removes particles from the air as well. I think someone's asked about the filter on the Carvera. So it's a HEPA filter. Oh, and the Pokemon card, the card that we saw is a Pokemon card.
Cool.
That's good to know.
I like it. I like it.
I'm running through it. The 300s are making it quite hard to track.
I know the giveaways do make it hard to
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so here's what I did. I, for whatever reason, can't share my screen, but what I can do is share a video recording that I just did. So I just did a super quick demo as a screen recording on the new features here, and I'm going to kind of walk you guys through it. So this is the newest update of Makera Cam that we're putting on our site today, if we haven't already done so. And what you see here is I've imported a 3D model, and I'm going to make a super simple 3D toolpath. The new update that we've done is we've added the preview toolpath feature. And to be super clear, the preview toolpath feature isn't showing you the actual tool paths. That has been in Makera for some time. That's what you see on the screen now. So that's actually showing me the path that the machine will follow. What preview toolpath does is it actually lets you render what the cut will physically look like in your stock, which is what you see now. So this is the new feature coming out to the latest version of Makera Cam. And that actually allows you to see how your cut's going to look. So you can see right now, for example, that these little sphere shapes are actually pretty rough. They weren't very smooth. So that lets me know that, you know what, maybe I need to use a different bit. Maybe I want to use a smaller bit or do a number of different passes or things like that to get some of those smoother finishes like what we saw in that Reddit thread. And if I rerun this preview toolpath, you'll see that these renderings, and the nice thing is you can actually speed it up like this so you can see a little bit better, looks much smoother, a much better, much smoother finish there. So that's more the result I want. It's also a great way to catch your mistakes, right? So often some mistakes that I make is I don't necessarily cut all the way through my stock, or, I maybe don't set my drill tip depth to go too deep here. So for example, if I do a contour toolpath, which would be cutting a toolpath around the perimeter of my part here, and if I don't make a mistake, and if I actually select my path, you'll see that I can render this, right? And that totally looks fine. That looks like I'm going to cut through my part. No problem at all. Let me preview this new contour toolpath and run it, and you can see it cut it out. But when I orbit around, you'll see I didn't set it to go deep enough. I'm not actually going to cut through my stock. So that's, again, where I can kind of come back and adjust my toolpath. So this new preview feature is something that we've been doing for or working on for some time. And it's just another really handy tool to hopefully prevent making some possible mistakes as you go here, as you work. Somebody's asking, does it show tool changes? If I go back here to right here, you'll see that it lets me select the different paths. So I can actually render different paths at a time, right? So if I was going to do multiple paths with multiple tools, it would kind of like switch from one to the next, right? And you can skip between them. It doesn't have like an animated tool change, but you will actually be able to select multiple tool paths if you want to render multiple at one time, or if you want to just render a single tool path to inspect a single component of this, you can do that. So just a new feature, and certainly something that we're going to continue to develop to add additional features as new versions to come, but something that we're super excited about because it's a handy tool for you to be able to, not only find greater success, but also maybe prevent some accidental mistakes and things like that before you dive into machining. So fun things added to Makera Cam. I also did that super quick, partially because of some minor tech issues I'm having right now, but also because we're almost out of time. And if you want to dive deeper in Makera Cam, of course, check out our YouTube channel and wiki site where we have our user guide, step-by-step tutorial videos, some different projects and things like that on how to dive in and learn. And again, you can find all of that on our website.
Great stuff. Well, good job on that.
Thank you. So quick scramble. You know, you plan, you practice, you do 10 streams, and everything goes great until it doesn't, right?
That's
so
it.
Hopefully, you know, no major issues there, guys. Thank you.
Nah, you got it. You got it. You got it.
Cool. Well, let's see. Do we have any final questions here? Rehome. Let's see. You guys are awesome. Thank you. You're awesome. Happy to answer your questions. Glad to do it. And this was, I think, a fun stream, right? Different than some of the ones we've done in the past. You know, it's not necessarily the step-by-step project, the tutorials. It's more of like this fun Q&A. Rolf, you and I don't get a chance just to sit and chat as much as we did tonight. So this was nice.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoy it too. And, you know, I think we can obviously use this. In some, we will have different type of streams. This is probably one of the more casual streams where we're not really making something, but we're looking at what other people's making. So in a way, that's actually a little bit more exciting. Looking at a machine just milling something, for some, that's probably not the most exciting thing. I know we can talk about it for hours.
We can. We don't have hours to do, and it's, you know,
yeah.
almost past my bedtime
try
here.
to stick to.
Yeah, almost past my bedtime. But somebody asked, where can I get those files? I don't know if you meant the files that I was showing, but any one of our tutorials that we publish, if it's an official Makera tutorial, we always share the files on our wiki site, specifically the knowledge sharing page of the wiki site, which I did just try to drop the link for that for. So it's wiki.makera.com. You head to knowledge sharing, you can find all the either steps, DXFs, the Makera Cam files with the toolpaths already generated for you, STLs, right? So anytime that we do an official tutorial, which that was the tic-tac-toe board from one of our official projects, you can always find that stuff on our knowledge sharing page. So I think it's time for our final giveaway. Those looks like we have about 100 and 180-ish people hanging out here for us. So let's do one more, and it's the big one, guys. It is a Carvera Air desktop CNC.
Exciting stuff.
Somebody just asked a great question though that I'm going to answer because I can't help myself. Rest machining in Makera Cam, is that coming? Yes. Rest machining is fully functional for 2D files. And it's in development right now for 3D files and fourth axis. So coming soon. So 2D files, rest machining is working great. For those of you who don't know, rest machining essentially is I can select more than one bit in a toolpath, and it will automatically determine what has already been cleared if you go from bigger bit to smaller bit. I think rest machining is just one term that's used to describe that for multi-tool clearing. But yeah, so that's in there for 2D files, and it's coming soon for 3D and fourth axis.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Very helpful. Yeah,
we have a video on that. Check out our YouTube channel. All right, here we go. Last giveaway. You guys ready? It's the big one.
Last giveaway. I'm gonna say hashtag air, and I will start collecting comments.
Hashtag air in order to win a Carvera Air desktop CNC. Ready, steady, go. Again, Facebook, YouTube. Drop in your comments. Don't forget to subscribe or like, depending on what you are follow and subscribe, depending on what you're viewing on. Here we go. We got a lot coming in here. Very busy.
Let's go. Let's go. Get your friends, get your family. Everybody needs to get on this.
Right? Who's going to get the air? We've been talking about it so much. Hopefully you can get one and machine.
There's a lot more entries than the other.
Yeah, people have been just waiting out here. Excellent.
Thank you for all the questions, guys. It is.
It's been good. It's been fun.
It's nice to back and forth, you know, and it's you know, I look at some things differently, you know, and what people's asking, you know, it's quite cool to see from everybody and how they participate. So thank you to everybody.
For sure. And again, we do these streams. I mean, we're glad that you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you're enjoying it because we're doing it. I mean, again, I'll sit here and chat with Rolf about cool projects all the time, but we don't have to record ourselves when we're doing it. We're doing this so we can collaborate and hear from you. So keep letting us know what you're looking to do and what more we can do to support. If it's more Q&A things like this, project tutorials, etc., keep us posted. So thank you guys for your participation here. I think with that said, are we ready to draw?
Yeah, with that, are we gonna have a little drum roll? Let's go.
Here we go.
Who's it gonna be?
Carvera Air desktop CNC. Paul
Niehorster.
Sorry if we butchered your name, but congratulations on winning a desktop CNC. You just got the Carvera Air. Congratulations. So to Pal here, and of course, all of our winners, again, make sure that you either subscribed on YouTube or followed us on Facebook, depending on what you're viewing on. Make sure that you take a screenshot of your account info so we know it's you, and then send that to info@makera.com so we can get you your prizes, whether that's sending something out to you or giving you that coupon code. And huge congrats to not only this guy, but Powell here, but also all of our winners throughout the night. And again, thank you everybody for participating. So I think with that, we've done a lot of things. And again, we genuinely appreciate it, guys. This has been a lot of fun. So thank you for throwing some questions at us. Thank you for giving us some things to think about. And also to all of our, awesome users that are sharing their projects on that Reddit contest and things like that. Thank you for sharing those cool projects. Genuinely inspiring. I have to go practice and experiment and break some bits and learn a little bit to kind of do some of those cool brackets and things. That was pretty awesome. Remember that you can join that and participate in that Reddit contest until July 3rd. All you got to do is post the project, share a video, share a picture. If you want to write a little blurb, do that, right? Tell us a little bit about it, but just share it, tag it, Makera contest, and everybody who enters wins something. So make sure that you participate.
So easy.
Yeah, so easy.
So
I mean,
easy.
You got to take the time to make something, but you're already doing that, right? So share it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. And also, summer sale ends on June 24th. So you got a little bit more time for that one.
Yeah, and you can save a lot of money if you're planning on buying machines, and obviously there's so many extras that comes with your machine. Like if you get a Carvera Air, you get a free laser module. If you buy the Carvera, then you get the free forced axis. So you can save a lot if you use the coupon code Makera, and that's that'll be up until the 24th. So that's just 5 more days. So that's just around the corner. So yeah, that's on the sales stuff. And then lastly, I think just touch again on that we're going to open source the 18th to the 20th in the San Francisco. So if you guys want to meet and greet, have a chat, about things that you're making, and just come visit our booth. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have fun. We're going to use the machines. We're going to make stuff. It's just going to be a really cool event. And if you guys are around, pop by. And yeah. Thank you everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys. We have some cool projects and stuff coming out too, guys. So stay tuned. That open source, we're going to do a lot of filming. We got some cool projects that will come from that, and even more in the pipeline. But again, if there's more things that you guys want to see, just keep letting us know. And thank you for being such awesome members of our community here. So yeah, thanks, folks. I think with that, we're going to sign off. And until next time, cheers, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.